Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hi guys, I'm Tasha Lee, and I'm here today with
Timothy V.
Timothy V, that's great. Or Tim Van Orden, or TVO, as you may know him. And we're wearing...
And we are powered by raw food.
Yay, his new shirt.
Check it out, they're organic bamboo and cotton mix. And they're the softest, most awesome shirts in the existence of raw food t-shirts. And there's a bug right there, because it's
very
Florida.
soft.
It's a very soft bug.
Exactly. So I asked him if he'd share with you guys a little bit about what he talked about last night that I thought was really powerful. He talked about a lot of things, very many things. It was a long talk. But it was so much good content, and I really especially appreciated what he shared about depression and finding worth, and so that's what I'd like to ask him about today. So Tim, one of the things I was saying that I've seen in you is like, okay, you have this running raw thing, and then you're injured and you can't run, and that it's like something we gain worth. We feel like we get worth from our accomplishments, you know, and then when that's stripped away from you, what's left? And then, you know, our appearance, a lot of times we feel like we get worth from our appearance and people thinking that we're attractive and they want to be around us. And then you have the tooth thing and you go without your front teeth in your videos, you know. And then another thing, a lot of times we find worth from, you know, feeling like we have it all together, or we're a success. And, you know, a lot of times I think people are scared to be broken and admit that we have anything that's messed up about us, you know, and you talk about your messed upness, you know, and I think that's really awesome. So I just, anything that you'd like to share about this sort of stuff and worth, like where does worth come from? Please go ahead.
Yeah. Messed up. I'm so messed up, and I'm not afraid to show it.
I messed up too.
You know, I don't see it as messed up anymore. I see it as just being human. Like, we believe that we need to be a certain way in order to be acceptable. We, as we are, will not fit in. And not everybody deals with this. Some people are quite secure and they don't ever really question their identity or their value or their worth. They are confident walking into social situations because why wouldn't you like me? Why wouldn't you want to talk to me? That never even occurs to them. But if you're someone that is an anxious attacher or an avoidant attacher, if you know anything about attachment theory, or you're highly sensitive or simply insecure, social situations and just about every other situation you're going to get into is going to be really challenging. And I am super sensitive and super insecure and super shy and a highly anxious attacher. And most of my life I've seen myself as messed up, broken. Now I don't anymore. Now I'm simply human. And that's the difference. Nothing has changed except how I view it. Like, okay, I deal with depression, and so, all right, I'm shy, so I don't have front teeth, so right now I'm speaking funny because I have a dental prosthetic in, and it sounds strange to me. Every word that comes out of my mouth doesn't sound like my voice, and it trips me up. So, you know, my hair's getting gray, so I can't run anymore, and people aren't going to see me as the super running raw guy, so I just keep going through all of the stuff that my brain wants to stumble on, and I just look at it and say, okay, yeah, does that take away from how you feel? Like right now, I'm in Florida, sitting in the sunshine, and it's probably 80 degrees. It feels pretty warm.
It's pretty warm.
It's nice, and I've been in, you know, ridiculously cold temperatures in Vermont. We're having a really harsh winter, and is my shyness taking away from my enjoyment of this warm weather right now? Is it in any way affecting how nice it feels to have sun on me and a warm breeze? It doesn't change anything. Or Tasha and her husband had a bunch of Florida juice oranges waiting for me with a hand-pressed juicer. And
But we made him do the juicing.
well, and I'm glad they did, because I got to cut the oranges in half, and when I cut the skin, the smell came out, and it just filled the room with this rich smell of fresh, delicious orange, and the juice is 1,000 times better than any juice you're ever going to buy in the store. And those experiences are available to you and to me regardless of what other people think of you. Regardless of how many teeth you have in your mouth, you can still enjoy a warm breeze on a sunny day or some fresh squeezed orange juice. So really, it's not about trying to get rid of the things that we don't like about ourselves. Like, okay, I need to fix my teeth before I can talk to somebody, or I need to run again before I can give a talk about running. No, you don't try to fix those things. You simply enjoy what life is presenting to you as you have those things. Some of them might be addressed. I am getting permanent teeth put in shortly, and I may be able to run again, but that is not really all that important. It shouldn't affect how I feel about what I do on a daily basis and how I move through the world. You know, you see somebody that you want to talk to and you're scared, and you happen to be looking at this beautiful dog walking by. You know, enjoy the dog. You know, when I lived in Los Angeles, I was a starving actor, and I'd go to the beach all the time. And there were multi-million-dollar homes all over the beach. Some of them, you know, $20 million homes in Malibu. And I had the same view they did. I didn't need to have that money. I didn't need status. In fact, when I first moved to Los Angeles, I was camping at the beach. I had a motorcycle and a tent and a change of clothes. That's how I arrived there. And I would just camp on the beach, illegally. And I had the same view. I would wake up to the same view as these super wealthy people. And how is my life really any different than theirs? Now, some people have pain in their life. Some people have physical pain, physical challenge, and that is problematic. But even so, you can still be present to what is good in your life. Just because there is pain doesn't mean there is only pain.
Tim, can you tell us, like, when you were talking yesterday about the depression and what you do every day, like, can you tell us what you were telling us about getting out, the process to go out running?
Yeah. If you give yourself a big goal, if you say, I've got to run 10 miles today, or I'm going to do a 30-day juice feast, or something like that, some big goal, that can be exciting initially. It can get people motivated, it can get them into action, but it inevitably, for people that really have challenge, it inevitably fails. It will come back and fall apart on them. And those people that succeed didn't really need that push anyways. They would have succeeded in another way. But the people that really need help the most, big goals like that are dangerous. So what I do, eating a plant-based diet and being an athlete, dealing with depression, people think, wow, it's a strict diet and that's a crazy exercise regimen you have. How could anybody do that, let alone a depressed person? I don't look at the end result. I don't look at the goal. I don't even have a goal. I simply wake up in the morning feeling like crap because I deal with depression, and I pull back the covers. I don't say, oh, you gotta go run 20 miles and it's below zero and there's several feet of snow on the ground and it's windy and you'd rather just lay in bed because you feel terrible. I pull back the covers and I check in with myself. It's like, how you doing? You know, do you have enough energy to pull back the covers? Well, I don't want to, but yeah, I've got enough energy to do that. Well, what's next? Well, put your feet over the side of the bed. And you keep breaking it down into steps that are small enough to take. And if you can't take the next step, that means it's too big. So whenever you find yourself stuck and you can't take the next step towards something, make the step smaller. You've clumped too many things together, like get dressed to go running. Well, how many steps are there in getting dressed? There's a lot of steps. Depending on what you're wearing, there's socks, there's shorts, there's shirts, there's shoes, there's whatever else. Break it down, okay? One sock, how about the left one? Let's put our left sock on. Now, how are you doing? Are you drained? Do you have enough energy for the right sock? Yeah, you probably do. And if you don't, you need to be in the hospital. So you just break it down into small enough steps that you can actually take, and before you know it, you're dressed. Before you know it, you're in the kitchen. Before you know it, you've got a banana peeled, and you've got some blueberries out of the freezer, and you've got some kale, and it's in the blender, and then you hit the start button, and you just keep going through those motions one at a time until you've got a smoothie in your hand. And then suddenly you're out the door, and you hit your watch, and you pick up your leg, and you fall forward, and you take a running step, and now suddenly you're running. But you know, it's not about telling yourself you have to run 20 miles, I have to do this, because that's too much. When you're already stressed, that's more stress that you're adding to the equation. And depression is all about being overwhelmed. It's a stress response that is so overwhelming that it's the brain's way of pulling you out of the game to protect you.
I'm crying.
Are you crying?
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
You know, when you were talking about the running, and when I was so exhausted, and I would think, oh my gosh, I can't even walk like to the end of the street. But the great thing about walking is like you just kind of fall forward on one foot, and then you fall forward on the other foot. It's easier than standing up. You can just keep falling.
Pick up a leg and fall.
Exactly.
Falling forward.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, you just write the language that you used just now. I can't even walk to the end of the street. So there's a comparison there that people with depression, people with anxiety, people with shyness, people with challenge, there's always a comparison. So the comparison is, I used to be able to walk to the end of the street. I used to be able to run 10 miles, and now I can't even walk to the end of the street. So there's a comparison between who you were and what you are right now. And you feel that you don't measure up anymore, and that therefore your worth, if you had any worth, it's totally gone because I can't even walk to the end of the street. But guess what? If you focus on picking up a leg and falling forward rather than the end of the street, what does the end of the street have to do with where you are right now? It's got nothing to do with it. Where you are right now is the only place that you can take action. The end of the street is an illusion at this point. So you take action where you are. You pick up your leg, you fall forward, and then you do it again, and you check in. How are you doing? Do you have less energy? Do you have more energy? Are you building momentum now? Are you more excited to take more steps? Or are you feeling drained? If you're feeling drained, okay, maybe we should call it quits. But hey, guess what? You took some steps. You didn't sit at home. Yeah. You didn't just say, wow, I can't go outside because I can't even walk to the end of the street. You got outside and you took steps. You took action. And regardless of the result of that action, you were in action. And that's the most important thing.
I was talking yesterday when, like, how his talk on depression just really resonated with me with our experiences of mold and losing everything we owned and not being able to find a safe place to live, and then hearing about the health problems and how some people never recover from this. And there's a lot of loss and a lot of like just overwhelm, and so many days where I'm like, it's just too much. And I've had to do the same thing of just like, okay, well, what am I going to do this moment? This moment, let's go ahead and get that smoothie together, you know, and I think I'll go to the beach so I can breathe, you know, and I think I'll make contact with somebody, you know, just these little steps, because if I think about the big thing, it's just too much. And, you know, so yes, thank you for sharing what you shared.
You're welcome, and you just said something else. We want to believe that our life is going to get better. That's really important for human beings to believe that. And for younger human beings, it's an even more potent belief. But as you age, like I'm pushing 47 now, and I'm seeing my body change. And it's hard to face because I'm never going to recover from old age. And we talk about that, like I may never recover from this. Well, there will be a point in your life where you suddenly find yourself at 50 or 60 or 70, and guess what? You will never recover from that. You will never be 20 again. And so you could look at every old person out there and say, oh my God, how do you live with it? You're never going to be 20 again. You're never going to be able to do that stuff again. How do you live with yourself? That's gotta suck. But if you talk to many old people, they're focused on what they can do right now. Many of them are here in Florida, soaking up the sun and enjoying what they can.
Yep.
And making the best with what they have, rather than, oh my God, this is what I was and I'll never be there. And that's not a slight on you, it's just what the brain automatically does.
I gotta tell you a story about that. In my new neighborhood, it's a bunch of old people. One day I'm like going on my bike with my mask on, you know, it's hard to breathe. I'm trying to get to the bathroom and back, and I passed this guy, old guy, he's using 2 canes to even walk down the street, but he's walking, and I'm like, hi. And he said, hi. And he said, what day is it? And I'm like, I had to think about it because I have no idea what day it is. And, you know, and then finally I'm like, you know what? I haven't got a clue. And then I turned around because I'd already passed him, and he was standing there with his arms like this, his canes out, and he was like, it's hump day! You know, he's got the camo with the hump day thing on his shirt. It was hilarious. It was Wednesday. Yeah, hump day. I'm like,
and he was having fun with it.
That's right, and he's living his life, enjoying it right where he is. I thought that was pretty awesome. And your focus now is?
My focus now is on helping people deal with emotional challenge that prevents them from making healthy choices. First of all, why do you want to change your diet? Probably because you hate yourself and you hate your body and you want things to change and you want your disease to go away. So if we can deal with that emotional state, not only will you make better dietary decisions, but you'll be more excited about them, they'll be longer lasting, and you'll just like yourself more along the way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this talk last night, so if you're able to go, I'd really, really recommend going. It was not at all what I expected. I didn't know, I was like, he's gonna talk about fruit and running and stuff, and it was like totally different, and it's something that people don't talk about, and I really appreciate that about you, Tim. I'm gonna cry again, I'm crying again. And I'm so glad he stayed with us. That was such an honor. So thank you for sharing with all of you guys, and thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and go check out Tim. If you don't know him yet, you can get to know him on his site. All right?
Nice to meet you.
Bye, guys.